right, you guys, let's talk about the skill of long division of polynomials. And before we get to the of polynomials part, let's just talk about long division. Let's see what we remember about long division. Let's go back to the very beginning of math when you were little. And let's say we have, and I'm going to write these as fractions because fractions mean division, right? 4 over 2 is the same as saying 4 divided by 2. 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. And we know that that's the end of our answer because 4 minus 4 is 0. There is a 0 remainder from that division problem. There's also some academic language you may not remember very well. Let's see. The number we are dividing into parts, this 4, is the dividend. Companies, sorry you guys, I don't know what's wrong with me and this pen today. Dividend. Okay, the number being divided up. Companies use this when they pay out their shareholders. They give them a dividend because it's that amount of money, that profit, being divided up between all of their shareholders. So the number being divided. Okay, and then we have the dividend, and then the number we are, the amount of pieces we are making, that's our divisor. Okay, so this 2 is the divisor, the amount of pieces. P-I-E-C-I before you pieces. I think that's correct. And then what's our answer? Do you remember what our answer is? It's the quotient. Okay? That's the answer to a division problem. Good, so we have all of our pieces, all of our academic language. Let's try something a little bit harder. Or I hope you guys are up to something a little bit harder. I'm going to erase this. Dividend, divisor. Okay, so let's do bigger numbers. Let's do bigger numbers before we get into our polynomials, okay? What if we had 523? Okay, that's our dividend, divided into, I don't know, 5 pieces. That's our divisor. Okay, so let's do some, you guys can skip through this if you are super good on the long division, but I'm telling you, remembering these little pieces now that you really know how to do it will come in handy in our next piece. So 5 can go into 5 once. We subtract. We get 0, but I'm not done with my number, right? I need to bring this 2 down. 5 cannot go into 2, so I need to put a placeholder up here. We're also going to have placeholders in our polynomials. Then I can bring down the 3. 5 can go into 23 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20, so I'm going to subtract 20. And I have a 3, but I'm out of numbers over here. And normally you can put your decimal and keep adding zeros, which we will do if you do that. 5 can go into 30 and then bring your decimal directly above. 5 can go into 30 6 times exactly. Okay. And it's 104.6. However, I want you to remember, even before we learned how to do that, I want you to remember something else. Let's go back to, let's see, not having the decimal. And we have 3. Remember when we were little kids and you'd put, okay, we're out of numbers, so we have a remainder, the R. We have a remainder of 3. What does that mean? I think this is going to be cool for you guys now that you have a lot more information and knowledge of math. You're going to understand this. So we have, what we have is 104 And we don't have a whole fifth. What we have to add to this is 3 fifths. So 104 plus 3 fifths gives us 3 fifths is the same as 0.6. That's equal to 104.6. So the same thing that would have happened if we would have kept dividing with a decimal. This is going to come in really handy with our polynomials, okay? So let's go ahead and do a polynomial division problem. And then maybe I'll give you some practice problems. We might not have time for that in this video, though. Let's start off with a polynomial on the numerator. Our dividend is 3x to the 4th power minus 5x squared plus 3. And we're going to divide it into this many pieces, x plus 2. And this is a real life situation, you guys. This dividend, the dividend a company gives out to its shareholders may actually be an equation, because maybe it's trying to figure out in the future what that's going to be. So we have to predict it, what your dividend's going to be, using an equation. And that's the most powerful thing about math. That's why we use it everywhere, and people get paid the big bucks for it, especially in finance and banking, is because they're making predictions about how much money people are going to make, okay, in the future. So let's go ahead and set up our 3x to the 4th. And here's where I'm going to put some placeholders, okay? I don't have x to the 3rd, so I'm going to put 0x to the 3rd minus 5x squared plus 0x to the 1st power plus 3. Okay, all of that is my dividend. Now my divisor, it's really hard to draw like lines. Darn it, I'm going to do that again. Maybe if I just don't think about it. No, you guys are just going to have to deal with that. I'm really sorry. Let me try one more time. I'm going to pause it and try till I get it perfect. All right, well, that's the best I could do. And our divisor on the outside, we're going to split it into this many pieces. And that could be the equation for how many shareholders we're going to have. So this is very applicable, you guys. It may look like, when am I ever going to use this? But if you ever want to work in finance and banking, this would probably come in handy. Okay, so let's get started. And we're going to have to break this up. So we're just going to look at the x here, and we're going to look at how many times can x go into 3x to the 4th. And so I would have to multiply that x by 3x cubed. Okay, so I don't have time to go back to all of those rules, but if you need rules on multiplying bases and exponents, please go back and look at those. They should be in your notes. So what I'm going to do is 3x cubed times x gives me 3x to the 4th. That's what I was trying to get. Okay, but I have 2 terms out here. So you have to distribute that. So the first thing I did is I multiplied it by here, and I got this. Now I have to multiply it by positive 2. Okay, so 3x cubed times positive 2 is positive 6x cubed. Okay, and now I can subtract this. Let's get rid of some of these lines here so you can better see what's happening. Whoops, I didn't mean to get rid of my x. I'll fix that for you guys. Okay, so what's happening here? Now we're going to subtract this, right? So I'm going to subtract, but remember you also have to subtract both things. So I'm subtracting 3x to the 4th from 3x to the 4th, and I get 0. But I'm also subtracting positive 6x cubed from 6x cubed. And that's going to give me, if I'm subtracting that, negative 6x cubed. And then I want to bring down, just like a normal long division problem, I want to bring down, because I have 2 terms, minus 5x squared. Okay, so this 0, I didn't need to write that. The 0 can go away. And now this is what I have. So what can I multiply x by to give me negative 6x cubed? And that's going to be negative 6x squared, right? Okay. And then you have to distribute it. So the first thing I get is negative 6x cubed, which is what I wanted. And then I get negative 12x squared, negative 12x squared. Then I'm going to subtract. But remember, I'm going to subtract both of those. Okay? So minus negative, that cancels, and minus a negative. So I'm actually adding that 12x squared here, minus negative. So I actually get positive 7x squared because of that negative on the outside. Then bring down my plus 0x. So what can I multiply x by to get positive 7x squared? That's going to be positive 7x. Multiply it by 7x times x, you get 7x squared. 7x times 2 is positive 14x. Subtract both. Okay, and I have negative 14x plus 3, bringing that 3 down. Then up here, I need a negative, so I'm going to multiply by negative 14 because the x is already there. And then I get negative 14x minus 28, right? And I got to subtract both of these so they both become positive. So these cancel, and I get positive 28 plus 3 is 31, right? But I'm going to rewrite my remainder up here as plus 31 over x plus 2. Okay, so what that means, my answer, I'll make my answer pink. This is my quotient, 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 7x minus 14 plus, and then 31 over x plus 2. Okay, that entire thing is my answer. What does that mean? That means if I multiplied that answer, the pink, times, I already used green. If I multiplied the pink times our divisor, I would get our dividend, right? So these two, the pink and the yellow, are factors of 3x to the fourth plus 0x cubed minus 5x squared plus 0 to x to the first power plus 3, but you can take out those placeholders. But these are saying the same thing, right? 3x to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 3 divided by x plus 2 is the same as my pink answer. Okay, those two things are the same as my pink answer. I'm going to end this video, but then I'll do a video of some more practice problems that you can do and follow along with. Okay?